The world goes through a change after every great crisis. Using this phenomenon as a basis, world leaders are pushing for a new world order called the Great Reset. It will be a system in which you will own nothing. Everything will be owned by the government, but you will be happy. Slavery didn't begin with the transatlantic slave trade in which millions of Africans were shipped to the Americas to farm cotton, coffee, and sugarcane. Indeed, it predates that. In the medieval era in Europe, between the 9th and 15th centuries, the world practiced a system called feudalism, in which all land belonged to the king, lords, and the Roman Church. Under feudalism, almost the whole population except the king, lords, and priests were slaves called serfs. It took the Protestant Reformation of the 16th century to break the bonds of slavery in Europe. Many Europeans run away from their motherland to the Americas, Australasia, and South Africa, where they got lands of their own to farm and build. During the Middle Ages, the feudal system kept millions of people under perpetual slavery to landlords. The peasants, or farmers, worked the land and fought as soldiers for the landlord. The landlord ensured their right to farm on the land and also protected the peasants. The peasants owned nothing until they died. They only lived to work. Sadly, these free Europeans went on to enslave Africans to work on their lands. The rise of America led to the global spread of capitalism, the toppling of monarchies, and the spread of republicanism and democracies. Since the end of World War II, the world has basked in the freedom of democratic governments, property owning, and free market economies. However, this freedom is about to change. Beginning from the financial crisis in 2008 and accelerated by the current COVID-19 pandemic, governments across the world have been taking over businesses through bailouts. As many people become unemployed and poorer, governments print money to support them, making them dependent on governments for their sustenance. The time cometh when every aspect of our lives shall be monopolized and controlled by a small group of ruling industrialists, bankers, and ruling elite. We are nearing a new world order of globalization. Subsequently, many governments across the globe are becoming socialist and feudal in nature, as they print money for free distribution to the poor and unemployed, as well as to bail out banks and companies as a means to secure jobs. Hence, the governments come to own the banks, companies, and people. Everyone and everything in society becomes the property of the government through free money and bailouts. This happened in the time of Joseph, when a 7-year famine broke out in Egypt. After finishing their store of grain and spending all their means to buy corn from Pharaoh or Joseph, the Egyptians sold their land and cattle to Pharaoh for food until they had nothing left to sell but their bodies. They then sold themselves and became slaves of Pharaoh. This feudal system where the freedoms of the people are greatly limited, and they worked as serfs or slaves in order to get money or support from the government, is just before us. The feudal system that occurred in Egypt, in which almost everyone except the rulers and priests was serfs, vassals to the king and landowners, is about to be repeated. In Egypt, this occurred after the 7-year famine. The people became broke and sold themselves and their property to the king. During and after the coronavirus pandemic, individuals, companies, and governments have become broke and need a bailout. This will indirectly make them serfs to the one who bailed them out with free money. In a recently written book called The Great Reset, Klaus M. Schwab, the author and founder of the World Economic Forum, which convenes leaders, industrialists, economists, and bankers around the globe in Switzerland, mentioned what the New World Order will bring into the world. Schwab states that the current COVID-19 pandemic will usher forth a great reset, a new world order, a new normal in which you will own nothing. Everything will be owned by the government, but you'll still be very happy because everything will be distributed for all. According to Schwab, this new system, which is a socialist and feudal system, is the best and will happen soon. Indeed, Schwab is only iterating what global leaders have already agreed on and plan to do by using the current situation to change the current economic order. The Pope himself, representing the Catholic Church that benefited immensely from the feudal system in medieval Europe, supports this. In his first encyclical letter called Laudato Si, he strongly urges for the adoption of the teachings of Thomas Aquinas, in which all private property will be abolished and everything will belong to the state and the church. World leaders gather annually to plan and talk about a new economic order that will enslave you and enrich them through the Great Reset. This new world order will abolish capitalism and individualism. It will make us all serfs. You'll own nothing, yet according to the leaders, you'll be happy. You'll work for the state, which will own almost everything. including you. This new order is satanic at best and evil at worst, and is but a fulfillment of prophecy. It's preparatory to putting the whole world under the control of one man, the Antichrist. It only tells us that the end of this world is close at hand. May we put our lives and houses in order, for the showdown between darkness and light is just before us, and the world as we know it is almost over. May the Lord save and guide his people safely.